Okay guys, if you are watching this video, the chances are that you've ordered a Bro RC Surfer board and you need to know about the electrics, in other words the battery side of the board. Don't supply the Lipo battery with the Bro RC Surfer for numerous reasons. The most important reason is that these Lipo batteries are quite dangerous. Once they've been used a few times, they can be unstable, and most airlines don't just allow you to ship these batteries around the world. Apparently, Lipo batteries in some cases have been responsible for some of the tragedies suffered on the airlines, and so you need to either be a registered Lipo battery distributor and have certification for that, or these Lipo batteries need to be shipped by sea. So the primary reason we don't ship a Lipo battery with the board is because of the stringent safety act with regards to airlines. But for other reasons, most people who are in the hobby industry or in the hobby circles have Lipo batteries of their own. I mean, they're either into flying planes, drones, cars, boats, etc. And then other people are also particular about what type of battery they like. So it's one of those areas that it's a big area, and the easiest thing to do is just to allow people to have and supply their own batteries. And obviously for those that aren't in the know with regards to the Lipo batteries, we are quite willing and able to give you referrals, references and links to what batteries you can use and where you can get them from. To start with, just to set the specs up front, the Bro RC Surfer, the maximum size of battery you can use is 145 millimeters in length. The depth, you can run quite a deep battery. You can run right up to, I would say you could push it to 45 millimeters. The depth of this housing is actually 40 mil. And then I actually have got a hollow here. There's a hollow you can see here in the lid itself. There's a hollow in the lid of about 5 mil. So if you really wanted to push a huge milliamp hour battery, you could do that quite easily. I generally run a battery that's kind of like in the 145 by 40 by sometimes 50 or normally 45 width. Okay, so that's the size of battery. Anything longer than 145 is not going to fit, and anything deeper than 45 millimeters is not going to fit. So be sure of those parameters when you are ordering a battery or checking out batteries that you could use. Another thing that people might not be aware of is that Lipo batteries, brushless motors, they are quite cool in the sense of you can run different voltage of batteries, and Lipo batteries are measured in cells. So you can get a 2-cell battery. This is a 2-cell, which is 7.2 volts. Then you can get a 3-cell battery. This is a 3-cell battery, which is 11.1 volts, and then this is a 4-cell battery, which is 14.8 volts. Now the difference here is the power output. Every motor, every brushless motor has what we call a kV, and the kV, like in this case of this board, has a kV of 2450. So what that would mean is if I plug this 7.2 volt Lipo battery into this board, the theoretical RPM that this motor could reach is 17,000 RPM. If I plug the 3-cell in, that's 11.1 volts, I would realize roughly 27,000 RPM. And then if I plugged in this big 4-cell, I would get close to about 36,000 RPM. So you can see as you go bigger in the battery, the voltage increases the RPM speed. And what's nice about that is you could bounce between, let's say you got a board and like my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, these batteries are actually for her. I've built a pink board for her, and she loves the whole RC surfing thing. So she's only 10 years old, so she's going to be running her board at 17,000 RPM, which will still be a nice speed. She'll be able to play around in reasonable shore break and have some great bro fun. The middle of the road is the 3-cell. I recommend this to most all people that get into it. It's a very common battery. It's used on the drones, on planes, in cars. So the 3 cell is a very common size. I like to recommend a 5,000 milliamp hour plus capacity of amperage. The amperage is almost like you can imagine the size of your petrol tank. The more milliamp hours you can have in a battery, the longer your run time is going to be. And I just find around 5,000 to 5,800 milliamp hours is a great run time for your battery. But what's nice about this setup is all you have to do is plug the battery in. The ESC on board automatically assumes what cell battery you have plugged in, and it makes all the necessary adjustment, and you can just go out and enjoy your sessions. I often bounce between the 3 cell and the 4 cell. If it's a mellow surf day and the surf's pretty relaxed and not too big, I'll use the 3 cell, and it's more of a gentle styling type of carving type of power. But if the surf's pretty harsh and big, and I need some serious punch to get over and through the lips, then I like to use a 4 cell just to go big or to go home. So that's that with the battery. Don't forget the battery size is critical. When you're ordering, you don't want batteries to arrive and find they don't fit. So the length of the battery, 145, and the thickness of the battery, no more than 45 mil, and you can play between the width. You got, I would say, safely up to 50 millimeters here. Right, so when you receive the board, it's going to look pretty much like this board does here. You're going to have your motor, your receiver, and your ESC, your servo is all going to be set up inside. That's for a ready to surf board. The only difference is going to be your ESC is not going to have any plugs on the power lead. Okay, and the reason for that is that all batteries, due to the manufacturer, come with a different plug. And there are a million of plugs out there. This is what we call bullet connectors. This is a Dean's plug. I can't even remember what this little blue boy is called. It's quite a big plug. Then you get your XT collection. You get all different kinds of plugs. And when you purchase your battery, you're gonna receive your battery with a particular plug on it. In the case of this battery here, this is what it comes with. I can't remember the name of the plug for some reason. But what I do find bizarre though is that they supply you with the battery, with the, let's call it the male plug, but they don't put the female plug in the box. I mean, you got to ask yourself, what's happened to all these female plugs that belong to these plugs? Where are they? You've got to go to your hobby store and buy a female plug. So the first thing is, when you do purchase your battery, be sure to order yourself, you only need one, just order yourself a, well, you're going to have to buy a pair, you're going to have to buy a male and female. Just buy yourself another plug set so that you can solder the matching plug onto your ESC power lead. Okay, so you would take your power leads and simply solder your plug on, plug it in, and off you go. Just remember one thing though, your polarities are critical. Make sure that when you are soldering on your wires that you match up your polarities. You'll see on most all plugs other than bullet connectors, you'll have your negative and you'll have your positive. It's printed on the plug. Okay, I think even the little Dean's plug has got it on. Can't really see here. No, the Dean's plug, yeah, the Dean's plug's even got a little negative and a positive on it. The XT plug has got a negative, a positive and a negative on it there. So just be sure that you get your wires, your polarities, the right way around, because if you don't and you plug it in, you're going to blow your ESC instantly, and that's going to cost you a good couple of bucks to sort out. Now, I'm sure one of you are sitting there asking, which do you think is the better plug? The truth be known is they will all work, but there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages. What I've found to be a real problem with RC surfing and plugs is that as hard as you try to keep everything away from the salt environment, salt is a curse. It gets to everything, and it gets to your plugs as well. And the one cool thing about bullet plugs, they're very easy to clean. I can get a little piece of light water paper and I can clean this plug quite easily. I can put a bit of water paper inside this female portion, and I can roll it around and I can clean it, and I can keep my plugs very clean. If these plugs aren't clean, often you get a voltage spike and your board will actually kick into what we call LVC mode, your low voltage cutoff mode, and that's not what you want. So your plugs, it's imperative that they stay clean, and this is why you're limited with other plugs like your Dean's plugs. You can't get inside there to clean. With your XT plugs, you can't get inside there to clean. It's not that easy. I also find with the XT plugs, these little prongs over here, they sort of seem to contract in and don't always make good contact, so I've kicked those out a long time ago. So I would recommend, if you do have a choice, go for a bullet connector. Just be sure when you fit your bullet connectors that you have opposites on your wires. So don't put two males on the battery and two females on your ESC. Make sure that you've got a male going into a female and a male going into a female, and that way you'll never get your polarities mixed up. I know it's like one of those things we only think about once we've done it wrong, but believe you me, it has happened, and I'm sure it'll continue to happen. So be sure that when you put your plug on, the polarities are correct. Okay, another important point I'm going to share with you in this video. I've got another video which is totally dedicated to it, but I'll just share it in this video anyway, is the sealing of these batteries. You'll see most batteries come with a shrink wrapped cover around them, so they're kind of sealed in the length, but on the ends here they're open. Okay, see, that's open. And again, working in a salty environment, first of all, you don't want to take chances. There's always a chance that you're going to get some type of moisture, water, precipitation in your board, and salt is a curse. It's going to get in there if it can. Okay, and these batteries here, with electrolysis, when your voltage is traveling in circuitry, it almost what's the word? It accelerates the corrosion that can be caused by these salts. So I want to just show you quickly how to seal these batteries. So it really just takes a little bit of duct tape. Take a piece of duct tape like this, just put it over the end, over. Okay. Just fold it in nicely, fold it in nicely, fold it in nicely. Okay, just like that. It doesn't have to be fancy. You're going to replace it every now and again. And then you take a little bit of insulation tape and you wrap the insulation tape around the perimeter of that. And this takes you maybe all of 3 minutes per battery. Just wrap it on the end. Okay. Alright, see that? You do the same on this end as well. Put your duct tape over here. Put your duct tape over here. Run your insulation around here. Your battery will end up looking like this one here. See, this has been well used by myself and has been well protected from any assault intrusion. The other thing I also do, if you can see over here, your little balance lead. You know, your normal balance lead. This is a balance lead that goes into your charger to balance your battery when you're charging it. I just put a little bit of duct tape. I just put a little piece of duct tape over my balance lead. I don't balance my batteries on every charge. I normally only balance my battery every third or fourth charge. I've just found over the years that doesn't seem to make a hell of a big difference. So every 3 or 4 cycles I'll balance my batteries out. But just to protect the balance lead from any corrosion and against salt intrusion, I put it in some duct tape, and that's it. So I hope that's been handy. I hope you always remember to get your polarities right when you're putting your ESC plug on, and I hope you have a huge amount of Profun, and don't forget to share the stoke.